Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into the latest developments in the global currency landscape, with a particular emphasis on Iraq and its evolving economic situation. However, that's not all. We'll also explore broader trends and the underlying forces shaping the future of currency values in the global financial system. Whether you're actively invested or simply curious about the shifting dynamics of the financial world, stick around because this discussion is going to be truly eye-opening. Let's start with some insights from Guru Maria PDK, who recently shared an update highlighting an increasing demand for US dollars in the region. Adding to the tension, Iraq's central and southern regions have refused to pass the national budget, a situation reminiscent of what transpired in Kuwait before their revaluation RV. Historical parallels suggest that similar back-and-forth reports emerged in Kuwaiti media before they unexpectedly changed their exchange rate, despite earlier statements suggesting no imminent adjustments. This pattern isn't unique to Kuwait. Comparable occurrences have been noted in both China and Germany. Meanwhile, reports indicate that Iraq is under mounting pressure, with commitments being made to resolve the situation within the next 3 days. Additionally, a delegation from the Kurdish region has already arrived in Baghdad, hoping to settle the ongoing budgetary dispute. This is undoubtedly a pivotal moment for Iraq, with high stakes for both domestic and international stakeholders. Shifting perspectives, another well-known source, Intel Guru MT Goat, recently discussed an article titled "Iraq Boosts Financial Stability with Huge Dollar and Gold Reserves in Western Europe." He expressed frustration over Iraq's substantial wealth reserves while the Iraqi dinar remains undervalued at merely 1/16th of a penny and is still absent from forex trading platforms. He emphasized that Iraq possesses 43% more oil reserves than Kuwait and has also discovered 2 additional massive oil fields. Despite this, Kuwait's currency, the Kuwaiti dinar, maintains a strong exchange rate of approximately 1 KWD to 3.22 USD on forex. MT Goat argued that the evidence is clear, and Iraq's financial strategists are likely well aware of their currency's potential. Now, consider an alternative scenario. What if Iraq were to set an initially high exchange rate for its currency? While this might sound extreme at first, the logic behind it is worth examining. By launching the Iraqi dinar at a strong value, Iraq could establish itself as a significant standalone currency, allowing the market to determine its natural equilibrium over time. If the rate starts high, Iraq could effectively leverage the situation to manage its national debt more advantageously. As the currency depreciates slightly, Iraq could utilize this economic positioning to facilitate imports, finance infrastructure projects, and secure essential resources at favorable terms. This approach would grant Iraq a strategic starting point, helping to absorb market fluctuations while maximizing economic benefits. The long-term implications could be significant, as a stronger dinar would not only stabilize the economy but also attract both domestic and foreign investors. Once the currency reaches a sustainable level, Iraq could potentially integrate it into a carefully structured currency basket, ensuring long-term economic security. This strategic framework would promote economic stability and predictability, making Iraq a more attractive destination for investment. If such a concept seems apparent to us, there is little doubt that Iraq's policymakers have considered it as well. It's a pragmatic, economically sound, and strategically cautious move that balances growth with risk mitigation, essentially a win-win situation. If Iraq's leadership has indeed factored this possibility into their long-term strategy, the financial markets may already be bracing for this shift. Meanwhile, Iraq's 2025 budget remains a contentious issue, with significant debate occurring in Parliament. MarkZ, a prominent voice in this space, has reported intense disagreements regarding its approval. Notably, there is immense pressure from various influential entities, including international forces, urging the government to finalize the budget as quickly as possible. Among these external pressures, the United States appears to be playing a central role, an unusual level of involvement that hasn't been seen in the past decade and a half. This raises an intriguing question. Why is the US taking such a keen interest now? While the American government seems more engaged with Iraq's financial situation, its approach toward Vietnam's currency, the dong, remains relatively hands-off. That said, there is still some underlying tension, particularly given Vietnam's past designation as a currency manipulator. Vietnam has frequently been accused of deliberately devaluing its currency to make exports more competitive, a strategy that has undeniably fueled its economic success. While the U.S. has refrained from significant intervention, this issue remains a point of contention. Another noteworthy perspective comes from Frank 26, a well-known commentator in this space, who recently issued a cryptic warning that they're coming after you. Though it's unclear exactly who he was referring to, it highlights the increasing entanglement of currency values, international politics, and strategic economic policies. Countries like Iraq and Vietnam are at the heart of these transformations, and the decisions they make could have profound effects on global financial markets. Whether it's setting a high initial exchange rate, integrating into a currency basket, or employing alternative economic tactics, these nations are navigating an intricate financial landscape. Investors and analysts are closely monitoring these developments, eager to understand the potential ramifications. Adding another layer of insight, Frank 26 warned that if the Iraqi dinar appreciates significantly, the government could impose additional financial burdens on investors. He humorously speculated that newly wealthy investors might even see long-lost relatives suddenly reappearing, seeking financial support. While partly tongue-in-cheek, his remarks serve as a reminder to be cautious when managing newfound wealth and its potential tax implications. Turning to broader economic perspectives, CLA recently highlighted an article discussing former U.S. President Donald Trump's impact on financial markets. The article suggested that Trump is pushing for a greater reliance on gold within the U.S. economy, potentially indicating a significant shift in global monetary policies. While the use of gold as an economic stabilizer is nothing new, if this trend gains traction, it could herald a fundamental transformation in how currencies are valued worldwide. A gold-backed economic framework would drastically alter monetary policy, reshaping the future of global finance. Meanwhile, MarkZ noted Iraq's deliberate efforts to highlight its financial stability, pointing out their substantial dollar and gold reserves in both the U.S. and Europe. He questioned why Iraq is making such a visible effort to emphasize its economic resilience, especially given its ongoing financial struggles. His assessment suggests that Iraq may be strategically preparing the public and investors for upcoming changes, potentially laying the groundwork for a long-anticipated currency shift. Further reinforcing Iraq's financial outlook, reports from Militiaman indicate that there is no immediate financial crisis. Both the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank of Iraq have reassured the public that the country's financial situation remains stable, with inflation under control. This is a reassuring signal for investors, demonstrating that despite ongoing political and economic hurdles, Iraq is maintaining financial discipline. The stability of Iraq's financial system is crucial not only for its internal economy but also for international investors with stakes in the country's future. If Iraq can continue managing inflation and maintaining economic steadiness, the likelihood of a smooth transition toward a new economic phase possibly featuring a revalued currency becomes significantly greater. This is a delicate balancing act, but Iraq's leadership appears determined to stay on course. Meanwhile, exchange rate fluctuations remain a key concern. On Wednesday, the U.S. dollar appreciated against the Iraqi dinar in both Baghdad and Erbil. According to a survey by Shafak news agency, exchange rates increased after the closure of Iraq's central stock exchanges, with the dollar settling at 100 dinars per $100. This slight fluctuation underscores the ever-evolving nature of Iraq's financial landscape and highlights how critical it is to stay informed. Exchange rate shifts can have cascading effects on inflation, foreign investment, and economic growth, making it vital for investors and analysts to remain vigilant. The global financial system is in a state of transformation, and countries like Iraq and Vietnam are at the forefront of these developments, whether through currency revaluations, economic restructuring, or